Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from Alexander Grace.
Wants to have a strong relationship with someone. They want them to be like their partner, their teammate, and you guys grow together and you do fun stuff together. Like, why doesn't anybody want that anymore?
Because you guys rejected all of it and wanted men to do everything. And now we're not looking for partners. We don't need you.
Is it just me? Like, am I alone? Am I dying alone?
Yes.
Because I don't want casual. And I feel like that's all people want now.
That's true.
Okay,
Like,
some free advice.
I hate to even say it. Like, even I only want casual now. Like, there's rarely that I would ever meet a person that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to put a baby in you. Like, no. It's just, I'm willing to have a little fun.
For you. If you're interested in long-term commitment, then stop dressing like you're on the way to the club. Everything about your presentation says that you are optimizing for physical appraisal. The bare shoulders and the upper chest, all that deliberate exposure of skin, all the glam makeup, the style.
It's like you're wearing clothes for the streets. Women forget that the clothes that they wear nowadays was literally relegated to only street workers. The amount of skin that they're showing, the outfits that they wear nowadays to the club or even just out to nicer restaurants, yes, that was literally relegated to only sex workers and street walkers. And now they wear it everywhere. How can we tell if you're not a street walker or not? You're wearing the outfit. And it's like what Dave Chappelle always says. You're wearing the uniform.
Stylized hair, that white dress that like hugs your body. Come on, like think about the message that you're sending. If you want men to be taking you seriously and to look at you and to think in terms of like a long-term relationship, then you've got to shift your attention away from your body and your appearance and direct it towards the person that you are. And I would do it quickly because men are opting out. I read an article recently about how landlords in Australia can't raise their rents any higher because everyone's just opting out. They're not paying. They still need a place to live, but if rent gets too expensive, they'll just move back in with their parents or they'll crash on a friend's couch or something. You can't just raise rents forever. And I realized that the creative solutions that people are employing in the rental market actually perfectly describes the dating market as well. It's a perfect metaphor. Women raised their prices too high, and so men are just walking away.
We're going to get married. I don't want to get married. There's no benefit for the man. He only has everything to lose. A man can be completely faithful to his wife, provide, protect, take care of the kids, obviously when he's not working, whatever. And the wife can step out and cheat. And what's the result of that? Man has to pay alimony, has to pay child support, loses his house, loses the cars, loses everything. Why? What's the point?
We are actually in uncharted territory. Never before in our collective human history has this ever happened before.
Where men and women are just like, we don't like each other.
Men are just saying, no, I'm just not going to get married. I don't want to. Which leaves women like these confused, like, where are the people who want to have long-term relationships? But what's being exposed is that women don't have the monopoly that they thought that they did. Let me explain, because relationships between men and women used to be reasonably straightforward. Just like a renter gives a fair price to a landlord and then in exchange gets somewhere to live. It's good, it's fair, it's a win-win transaction. That's how it used to be in marriage. The man brought a certain amount of like protection, resources, leadership, emotional stability, discipline for the children, manual labor. That was his contribution, and in return, a woman brings softness and warmth and domestic contributions, physical affection, nurturing for the children, gratitude, and
everything he describes now, it's like, damn, we definitely don't get that nowadays. That's for sure.
And appreciation. You know how it goes. He would trade his masculinity for her femininity, and everyone was happy. They're both exchanging their complementary skills, and it was fair and equal. But what if women collectively wanted to change the price? Landlords have to compete with each other. They don't want to get undercut, so they're subject to market conditions. What feminism did that's so unique is
it made a cabal, like these women all collectively came together. Let's just raise prices.
Kind of created a cartel around
go,
the
cartel.
price
I
of
couldn't think of the name. I said cabal, but cartel, cabal.
being in a relationship with a woman. I explain how that works in part 2. But just imagine what happens if the landlord starts making changes to the arrangement. You know, the rent goes up, the utilities are no longer covered, there are repairs that don't get fixed, inspections more frequent, and then the rent goes up again. And at first, the tenant doesn't complain, you know, because these don't happen all at once. It's just little incremental changes. It happens gradually, so they keep on adjusting to this new sense of what's
I see where he's going. And yeah, men were just like, yeah, we don't like this, but okay, let's see where this goes. And this is where it gone.
normal. But that doesn't go on forever. At some point, the renter reaches their breaking point where they look at their budget, they look at the quality of what they're getting, and they say, no, this isn't worth it. I'm breaking my lease. I'm walking away. And this is where a lot of men are. It happened gradually, so they didn't notice it at first, but there comes a tipping point where they go past their threshold, where they look at their relationships, and even if they can't articulate it, there's
This is like the biggest juice ain't worth the squeeze explanation right now.
just something in their gut that says, no, this is not fair. This is not right. There's no way that this arrangement with everything that I'm contributing and how little I'm getting in return, there's no way that this is normal.
After 2 years of marriage, my husband told me he doesn't love me anymore.
No, that's not what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
No, I said you can't keep buying stuff we don't need on Amazon every day.
The same thing.
The deal for men has never been worse, but how did we get here? What did women actually do? Okay, 3 things. First, new burdens on men, new demands and expectations that were never part of the original deal. Number
Yeah, you gotta do house chores, gotta cook and clean too.
2, protections have been removed. Things that used to safeguard men inside relationships, they have been stripped away. And lastly, a drop in quality. And this one especially
huge one.
stings because at the same time that men have been paying a higher and higher price, the quality of what they're getting in return has just been plummeting.
Hoflation.
Worked hard.
I
for-
don't want.
I worked
the
hard
link.
to
I sent you
afford
the
this.
pictures. I sent you the link. What else do I have to do? I mean, I told you the ring that I wanted. I don't want that. I don't.
Just because it ain't 6, 7 carats. I mean, it's,
I don't care. I told you what I wanted. You asked me what I wanted. I
this
told
a
you what I
real
wanted. And that's
ring.
not
This is a
it.
real ring from
I don't
from
care.
Mate, I don't know what you paid for that ring, but I promise you it was too much. This is not a good deal. To bring it back to this woman who's confused why men don't want long-term relationships, let me break it down for you, okay? Let me explain why. Let's start with the burdens that have been added to men. Your man is now simultaneously expected to be a solid rock of stoicism anytime that you need grounding from your emotional chaos, but you also require him to be emotionally sensitive and vulnerable and highly expressive with his emotions anytime you feel like connecting. You expect him to step up and be a leader anytime you're fatigued, when you just want to turn off your brain and let somebody else make the decisions. But you also want him to step aside and relinquish being a leader anytime you feel like being in charge. He's meant to just surrender the reins the moment that you feel assertive. And because he's the man, you 100% expect him to be the protector and the provider, because that's what a man does. But also, this isn't the olden days anymore. And so now he has to do half of the housework and half of the parenting. And if he doesn't, then you are a victim and you're being exploited.
I don't give a fuck what a man does for work. If he does not come home and contribute to your life, meaning helping you with the kids, helping you with the house, helping you with the laundry, he is not the fucking one, sis. If you do not have a partner that comes home and contributes to your fucking life, you don't have a partner. You literally have.
Like look at these women talking about like as if they had nothing to do all day, or they were working all day also, right? And they just couldn't do any of these chores and stuff. You had 8-10 hours while I was at work doing work. What the fuck did you do?
Have somebody who is paying your bills and then you're taking care of their kids, or you're basically raising them and taking care of their laundry and their dishes and all this stuff. And if your partner thinks that paying the bills is contributing to your life and that's all they need to do, that's leave. I don't give a fuck what a man does for work.
It's not that he loves you, he takes care of you, he dotes on you and makes sure you're okay. No, he just takes care of the bills. He's fucking useless.
If your man goes to work and he comes home and does nothing, doesn't help with the kids, doesn't help with the house, he is not the fucking one. He's a lazy piece of shit. I don't give a fuck. So when he comes home from work, it's time to clock in, motherfucker. It is time to get this shit rolling so that we can all have a peaceful night, so we can all get some rest, so we can all take care of ourselves. I said what the fuck I said.
So now, let's just imagine you're a man and for some reason you married this woman, sorry. And the moment that you get home, she starts screaming at you and she says, I don't care how hard you had to work today on the oil rig. Don't you realize that I had to go like this with the vacuum cleaner and I had to press a button on the washing machine? It is time for you to step up. At that stage, you might start thinking, shit, I think I might have made a mistake getting into a relationship with this woman. I got to get the hell out of this situation. You know, this is not a good deal. All these additional burdens that have been added on top of me. No, I don't want to pay this price anymore. I want out. But then you discover that you can't leave. You can't extricate yourself. Not easily, because the protections that you used to have as a man, they're now gone.
In the US, your wife could participate in a bang, divorce you, and still get paid alimony.
Steve Harvey's wife cheated on him with like their personal chef, and now she wants like $400 million for their divorce.
It just sounds like victim whining to me. Like, I think you guys have to step up.
Well, at the risk of being accused of victim whining, let's just...
I'm gonna whine my ass off if fucking $400 million are about to leave my damn account.
Just go through the protections that have been taken away from men. Thanks to no-fault divorce, women can now lie to their husband, commit infidelity, abuse him, steal from him, but for some reason, we can't assign fault. So financially, she's still going to get paid. Men have also lost the protection of due process. It seems as though feminism has gleefully removed the burden of proof from divorce and custody arrangements. All she needs to say is that she was mistreated or that the children were abused. Not that she'd have a vested interest in making up these lies, but the simple accusation, that's enough. Protection.
And it happens every damn time. Why? Because it's meta. Like, meta. Everybody's going to do meta. All of the lawyers are going to do meta, right? Because it's the most effective tactic available. They know they're going to get money. They know they're going to get the kids. They know they're going to get everything they want if they use these tactics. So they're going to use the tactics every damn time.
Orders in the state that I live in here in Australia, they issue protection orders just based off accusations. So her lack of evidence is no longer a protection. The truth? Irrelevant. She doesn't have to prove shit. So now, for many years, while the custody proceedings are underway, he can't see his kids. And in these contentious cases, when the decision finally does come down, it's not likely that he's going to get primary custody or even 50%.
Yeah, because he was gone for 2 damn years while he was fighting to see his damn kids.
50% custody is the dream for most divorced fathers. They wish they can get that. They desperately hope for it, but instead he becomes Uncle Dad. He pays child support and sees them every other weekend, his own children. And how about this one? Because in certain jurisdictions, if he's not the father, like they take a paternity test and it proves that she lied and committed paternity fraud, guess what? That doesn't even end his child support obligations. Nope. She cheats and she lies in the most brutal and disgusting way that you possibly can.
And you still get punished for it.
About paternity, about whether your children are actually yours. She misleads and manipulates him potentially for years. Does she face any financial consequences? Can he sue her? Is there any jail time? Is it a criminal offense? There is no consequences for her. And in many cases, the guy still has to pay child support. The protections that men used to have in marriages and relationships, that's just evaporated. And so a lot of men can see this for what it is. And they think, wow, okay, I will be very vulnerable once I sign that marriage contract.
Don't be dumb. This is why we always kind of make these contents and this video and this space is don't be dumb. There might be moments of weakness when you're like, man, she's so hot, she's so wonderful, she's so perfect. Don't throw yourself into the fire.
I'm not sure if this is worth it. I mean, it's a pretty big risk. I've got all these new burdens. I've got very little protection. And what exactly am I getting in return? What's the dating market like? What are the women?
Used box.
Like, what is the quality of partner that I can expect in the modern dating scene.
Men don't have a say in women's lives.
Do you think sexual empowerment of women in any way contributes to their own objectification?
No.
Does the fact that and OnlyFans exist prove that women are okay being objectified as long as they're getting paid?
No. It means that we can use our body the way that we want to without men's control.
Do you consider work to be real work?
Yes. Yes.
She thinks she is so smart. And like, oh yeah, I'm just killing these questions.
And if you don't, you suck.
Why are women more accepting of women who can sell, but are less likely to accept a man who can buy it?
Because it's empowering to be able to do what you want with your body when you want to be able to do it.
But isn't that like shaming your own customers?
No.
Well, how can you be a victim of your own product?
Because it's my body. My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
I'm just imagining the guy who's potentially going to marry this woman in the future. You know, he's accepted all the additional burdens that will be put upon him, and he's swallowed the injustice of the fact that he's going to have no protections for him should things go south in his marriage. He's taken an enormous risk, and he's decided to be brave, or foolhardy at least, and to push forward. And then this woman, this is his prize. This is his reward. This is what he gets in return for everything that he gives. I know that I will be accused of dehumanizing women when I say that there has been a collective decline in quality of women over the past decades. But I mean, why should we be afraid of saying it? It's obviously true. I actually find...
Again, we talk about hoflation. The quality of women went down, but the price went up.
And it more dehumanizing to men to expect them to stomach this drop in quality, given everything that they're sacrificing. Such an unequal exchange. He has to be Superman, you know, and be good at everything and do everything.
Oh, he also has to be Bruce Wayne Superman, right? He has to be also the richest man in the world and billionaire playboy.
Thing where she gets to be completely devoid of any femininity. And it's not just the high body counts and the slutty social media. It's the nasty, ugly, hateful personalities that modern women have developed. Women have become aggressive and loud, and they're always complaining, and they present themselves as victims of everything. There's no accountability. And men are just expected...
It's like the Schrodinger thing, right? They present themselves as victims and present themselves as strong, independent boss babes exactly at the same time, almost every time.
To sit there and smile while her brazen hypocrisy is on display. He's meant to nod and agree while she demonizes masculinity and blames every problem in existence on men. Does this answer your question why there aren't any men out there who are interested in long-term commitment? Why they are just keeping things casual? It's because the deal sucks. Men are walking away. They are done, like truly done, many of these guys. And I think that it's important to take a moment and just appreciate how unprecedented and extraordinary that is for a man.
I can't really think of times of when men just didn't want women because they were just so horrible. Like when you think of eons ago, most women are just regular women. And men love regular women.
To just say, no, I'm just done with marriage. You know, I'm not going to marry you women. Do you realize how obnoxious and entitled you need to be to push a man to get to that point? Every one of a man's instincts are biologically inclining him towards partnership.
It really is, isn't it? Like everything that men do makes us to be the most viable partner for most women, right? That's just how biology works and how society works. You provide and show value to society, you get a woman afterwards, and I get in a sense.
And reproduction and companionship, and somehow you've severed that. And they already stomached so much. You know, they already adapted to new baselines of expectations. They shifted, they moved, they compromised, they put in this effort, and they didn't want to walk away because men define themselves often by what they provide for women. Being a husband, a father, a protector, a provider, that's his identity. And I want to go into detail on the psychological mechanisms.
I mean, tell you the truth, after my divorce, I had to refine my identity because I always saw myself as a husband. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Now, obviously, that isn't the case.
That were at play when men were accepting these worsening conditions. I covered that in part 2. But men had already invested so much, the sunken cost. They didn't want to walk away from that unless they absolutely had to. And you probably thought that it would never come. I imagine that you thought...
Well, I think men and the sunk cost fallacy is probably like intertwined with each other. The more effort, time, and resource we put into something, the less likely we want to leave it or let go of it or, see it perish in some way.
That men would just tolerate nonsense and bullshit forever. Didn't matter how much guilt and shame you heaped upon masculinity. Men would just sit there and continue to take it. But congratulations, ladies. We reached the edge. The hatred and the bitterness in your personalities has finally gotten too much. And many men have just reached their breaking point.
Men are predators. Men will go into spaces where there are guaranteed going to be women, and they will basically just harass them. There are predators that exist in this world. Men are predators.
I actually think it might be the landlords in this situation who are the true predators. You thought that because everybody needs a place to live, that you could just keep raising rents forever. But you underestimated how good men are at problem solving. If all you offer him up in the dating market are terrible options, you either marry this nasty lady or this horrible woman, why would you expect that he's definitely going to marry one of them? No, he might just walk away. Many men are delaying.
This is why we always say it, guys. The most powerful thing that we have is the ability to walk away, the ability to let it all go and start all over. That's men's ability. Use it. Exercise that right.
Commitment. They're not rushing into anything. And yeah, this woman doesn't like it because all the men she meets are dating casually. But from a man's point of view, he's thinking, why exactly would I sign a document that gives you ownership of my testicles? And if men do get married, they want prenuptial agreements. Why should you, as the woman, be the only one that gets protection? Just because your protection comes default from the state because of our feminist society and I have to pay a lawyer to get mine, why shouldn't I as a man have that same protection? Other guys are exclusively only dating religious women, ladies with socially conservative traditional values. Other guys are choosing to only date young women, women before they've been indoctrinated into feminism too badly. Or they're going overseas, passport bros, right? They're moving.
I love Alex. As soon as I said it, I mentioned it and he said it. Like, me and him, co-perceptive.
Into countries where the women still have some femininity. Other guys are finding companionship with sugar babies and escorts or AI girlfriends, or they're busy with their hobbies or their friends, and if they want children, they'll use a surrogate. And these options are only expanding as they lose the stigma that they once had and social permission increases.
I mean, the whole buying box stigma is starting to go away with OnlyFans and everything. I remember when I first started, like, tricking was such a no-no. Everybody's like, oh, you're such a trick and this. I'm like, but now everybody's like, I see. $40 to get your rocks off or a couple $100 to go on a date with a miserable woman that's probably going to just take advantage of you. People can see. People can logically think through it.
Explain how that works socially in part 2. But I want to be clear, I'm not celebrating any of this. It actually breaks my heart because it's unnatural. Men and women should be together. We shouldn't be coming up with creative solutions on how to avoid each other and have surrogate relationships and other things that fulfill us in our lives. No, men and women should be committing to each other. Given the strength of that commitment, the thought that you had that you could just make the deal worse and worse and worse for men, expecting that, well, what are they going to do? They're trapped. They need us. That was wrong. Ultimately, you overplayed your hand. Men have a strong instinct for justice and fairness, and they looked at the deal that you were offering and they realized correctly that it sucks. So for this woman who's confused, and for any woman out there who wants to attract a man into a long-term relationship, this is my advice. Stop thinking of your relationships with men as a competition or a trade negotiation where you're trying to get the better deal. You're negotiating against him. You're trying to find a bargain. No, realize that the two of you are on the same team. When he wins, you win. And then start to roll back the burdens that you placed upon him. Give him some of his protections back and cultivate your femininity. Make yourself a more desirable partner.
This is way easier to say than be done, Alex, for sure, because most of these women aren't even going to be holding themselves accountable for any of their own actions to even get to this point.
So that he begins to feel like being with you is a good deal. Make him feel like a winner. And that will be a good thing for you because you will have fun dating a winner. When he is happy, he is going to treat you well. And I promise you'll have decades and decades of love and a healthy functioning relationship between the two of you. This is not happiness at his expense. This is complementary happiness because both of you have your own strengths. You're meant to work together. That's how nature designed us, for mutual benefit.
It's so true. When men are happy and like excited about their life and everything is going well, what do? They just do more for their girlfriends, give them better lives, give them more because now they're able to do more. Most men don't get greedy as they get more wealthy, right? At least with their significant others and their family. Few do. I'm not saying they don't, but most men are very generous with their partner, their wife, their loved ones. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And catch you guys next time. Ciao.